social stratifications and its principle. So, what does social stratification means in the terms of sociology is social society sociologists use the word term social stratification to refer to a system by which categories of people in a society are ranked in a hierarchy. So the definition have already given a clear cut understanding of the term. Like it is a hierarchy. Who is on the top and who is at the lowest level is the rank which is given by the people living in the society. Like we have caste system. In that also depending on the varnas and jatis. In tribes also, which is the upper tribe, which is the lower tribe. Then in caste also, then if you talk about anything other also, even in education also, which if you are a PhD person, you are having a different type of societal power. If you are just a metric pass person, then it becomes your power of accessing things become less. So this is how the society has categorized their people into depending on their different factors and rank them with according to the hierarchy. So what are the principle on which social stratification has been made? The first one is social stratification is a characteristic of society, not simply a function of individual differences. So it is defined by the society. It's not defined by the single person. Okay, not the like if a girl is there, then she will be less. If a boy is there, intelligent boy, good. Poor and studies, you are less. Not like that. It's a societal means it's a group of people characterized or being uh, placed in the hierarchy. Then second principle is social stratification persist over generation. So this stratification doesn't only carry out in one form, it has a power to have more things in other forms also, like uh, other form of divisions are there. So like it follows by the generation also, same as caste. Then third point is social stratification is supported by a pattern of belief or ideology. Even this social stratification, this word is a very huge word. If you narrow it down, it becomes a small thing, that is division. Okay, grouping people on the pattern of belief or ideology. Like if you worship um, mm, Quran, then you become a Muslim. If you worship Bible, then it becomes you become a Christian. If you worship a Guru Granth, you become a Sikh or Punjabi. And if you worship Gita, then you become a Hindu. If you have Buddha, if you believe in Buddhist things, then you become a follower of Buddhism. So these are the way through which people have divided and made a hierarchy and ranked the people in their hierarchy depending on these three factors. One is it is not formed by the individual. Second, it is carried by generation to generation, and third is it depends on the ideology. And this social stratification does not sum up or uh, get closed on the factor of just these three things. There are other factors that are supporting to them. So the first one is prejudice. refers to preconceived options or attitudes held by a member of one group towards another. So the word has prejudice means like what of connotation you have in mind with if you listen or if you have some um, mind made a image or a quality or a characteristic that is made by a person in the mind, and you judge others, people from other group, on the basis of that particular form. For example, if a person is having, if he buys, we have seen in the society, if a person buys a new car and he is just a clerk in the office, and the car cost around 8 lakhs or 9 or 10 lakhs, then other people who are in the society, they have a envy in them. They think like, okay, maybe this person is having under table job, and he has black money with him, and he is just to invest themselves in a particular thing so that they cannot be caught by the government. Mostly people in India, they have a very some factors are there that prove them uh, by the name or by the title that you are belonging to this particular character, and this is your image. For example, if a village woman, if you uh, see a village woman, or if somebody tells you about a village woman, what the first thing you have in mind is a woman with clumsy hair, then smuggy face and all, and then wearing a particular muddy sari or something, and carrying a bundle of bushes on her head, or going for fetching waters. If you talk about this people on the basis of uh, their occupation, uh, if there is an advocate person occupation, if he has his profession, most of the people, they don't believe in him because they know like they are mastered in saying lies. So maybe if he is still telling the truth, people don't believe them because they have they have made their mind, or they have made a characteristic of that particular advocate. If you talk about uh, doctors, they have a particular image in their mind. And other thing is like if even in the same gender they have so many differences, and in the caste system also, like the upper caste people, they uh, think like the lower caste are very low, they are untouchable, they don't want to getting contact, and these people have this thing. There is a very famous movie that was released just now, that was Article 15. And all the time there was a one scene in which the policeman came to the uh, DG person and told that DSP person, and come and told him like, ये लोगों का तो ऐसे ही होता है, these ये लोग तो ऐसे ही हैं. Then the person asks, why you call them ye log? They don't have any name or they don't have any designation. So the factor is that they were trying to get justice for her own sister. So she was belonging to the lower caste, means very very low caste. Even in that movie you will see so many discrimination that was given there, is like uh, people, the higher caste people cannot eat from the lower caste plates and all. I, I, I don't know, there are so many difference. It's still, these difference are carried out in rural areas, and maybe these people are trying to come up or trying to abolish all these things so that they can have equal accessibility in the society. Till now there are so many other differences are there, like for example, on the basis of education, if there are people who are graduated, or they when they go back to their villages, they pretend as if like they are the higher people, they have the quality of having a status. Then there are many different other societies that work together, and these societies, these things um, have different what we can say, different image about the other group. Then comes the stereotype. So stereotype and prejudice prejudice are having a very narrow line to segregate the two terms. Stereotype is, if you are depending on this particular thing, you will have to work, and you are able you are being judged by the society on the basis of that particular. In prejudice you can have a little bit improvement, but if you talk about the stereotype that are rigid, they cannot be changed. For example, what does the stereotype means are often applied to ethnic and racial groups and to women. If you talk about women, they are the most oppressed, women and children, they are the most oppressed community in the society. So woman has to do this, woman has to be like this, a girl child has to be like this, a girl child should wear this, if you're following this, you should do all this thing, this is your duty to serve the family, this is your responsibility to look after the children, this is your responsibility to look after, to see who is sick in the family, it is your duty to look after the household, all the household work. And for a man, they have a connotation, you are a breadwinner of the family, so you have to work. How can you if there is a situation like a woman is working and a husband is doing all the household work, then it there is stereotype thing uh, mm, is being defined by the society. Okay, you are a man, you have to go. Why she is working? Why she is going for the to the office? Why she is working in the office? Why aren't you working? If a person is educated and one person is not educated in the family, in that type of also, okay, you are educated, you go for this work, I can't give you a good suggestion. Even those who are not educated, they can't give a good suggestion or good advice for a particular situation. This is what stereotype mentality becomes in the society. Also, if you see about the racial group, racial here is means the color of the body. If you see a Nigerian person, or if you see some other person, you have some uh, like what we say, some mentality like, okay, these people, they are very poor, they get funds from UN and US, and they work on that, they don't have their own identity, they eat only less food, they starve like this. So you simplify, and even if that person is belonging to Sri Lanka also, they will tell that this person has the same thing. So this is the then ethnic. If a person who like being a person who is living in this urban areas, when it comes to rural area, they don't want to what we can say, they don't want to accept the rural life. They will maintain their urbanization in that also, their way of dressing, the way of eating. And when they see others, they may make a thing like they are dirty, they work in the field, they don't have enough food, they are clumsy, they are like a skeleton and all, they don't have enough food and all. So these are all stereotype that we make in our Rudivadi thing. In Hindi we say Rudivadi thing. So this is a very different factor that comes up. Then the third thing which is seen in any form of society, in any community in the society, that is discrimination. Discrimination, what does the definition mean is, refers to actual behavior towards another group or individual. So you have seen, or every person in the in every person have observed this discrimination, or have fa- faced this discrimination in their lives. For example, if we say in the caste system, the biggest factor that comes in India. In other country, if we say, on the basis if their person is getting job, on the basis of their language they are discriminated. Okay, you are belonging to this country, these country people are like this, so you are, all the people are like this, so this is the parameter for you, you don't cross this limit. If you see for the politicians also, if you see for the people who are if a rural person is going for higher education, they face a lot of discrimination. Women, if you see, she is the most common factor in all the social stratification having in the society. She is discriminated on the basis of her physical appearance. She is discriminated on the basis of the responsibility she is having. On the, if a woman go for a job, she has to work harder than the male. Why? Why can't she just work the hours the male is working? For getting promotion or breaking the top ceiling, she need to have a good way, or she wants to be a cunning person, or she wants to have something other than that, so that people will recognize her. Why this type of discrimination is seen in offices, in schools, in even in temples also. There are, so if you see discrimination as a factor, you will find in each family also, each family there are discrimination. The elder son is getting more responsible, and there are so many factors, they have to be more responsible towards the younger children, family, their respect is being carried out by the elder one. What about the younger one? They enjoy most of the life, most of the time they are the person who is, if there is a girl or a boy in the family, the girl is automatically going to have a pressure in the family to maintain the social requirement, and also these discrimination are there in the society.
Is what brings a desirable change in three major factors. That is, first one is knowledge, that is things we know, whatever the existing knowledge that we have, and how this existing knowledge can be modified, or how much it is uh, possible to improve the uh, current situation, and how the ancient, or we can say the previous knowledge, is going to improve the particular situation going on. Then the second part is attitude is think we felt like, whatever the situation we are in, we sometimes forget to and analyze that we can have a solution out of it. But when we have this education, we can have a diversity of knowledge, how to and ways how to come out of that particular situation. Then skills, things done, that is like whatever the way we handle the situation, and how we come up with a proper solution of that a particular situation, is going to be very much helpful to the people. Okay, so all these things, at knowledge, attitude, and skill, should be there in a human behavior, and that is what the education does. It changes overall, it changes the human behavior. If a person who is illiterate he may have a very basic way of traditional way of, or a, we can say, traditional way of understanding the situation. But when we are talking about the fact that how that traditional situation, traditional knowledge is going to affect the present situation, that is what education brings into the person. Okay, so we cannot say that education is a part and extension is the another part. The education is the integral, means it is there, almost present in every extension thing, whether it is extension of agriculture, whether it is extension of any medical area, whether this is education of any um, anything. You can take any of the fields of education, and the basics concept of extension is education. Okay, so we cannot say like education and extension are totally different things, two different parts. So we have to always keep in mind that education is the basic concept of extension. If there is no education, we can't carry out the extension. Okay, so extension means that type of education which is stretched out to the people in the rural area or beyond the limits of the educational institute to which the formal types of education is normally confined. So it's we can say that we are in extension. What we are actually doing is we are educating the people in the rural area who are not able to access to the institute structural institutions, or we can say educational institution like school, colleges, or universities, or institutions, or any training program, training institutes and all. So it is a formal type of education that we are providing to the people going into the village and providing the knowledge to them. Then what is the type of education that we are having? The first one is informal education. Informal education is like a type of a long life process by which every person acquires a knowledge, skills, attitude, and insight from a daily experience. So, informal education is directly related to the daily experience that we does. Like um, we, it is said, it's a very famous saying from our ancestors that. Old people or grandparents, that whatever you learn is not all the bookish language. So here daily experience also gives a very different frame as we see in the book. Like don't say lie, it's a very basic thing that we learn in the book, but sometime in real life it's good that we are not lying to something, but situation arises when we have to lie, but we have to manipulate in such a way that the person doesn't get affected by the lie that we are saying. So same thing is what our daily experience is teaching us, and what we are learning in a formal education or in the book is knowledge. So it's exposure of everyday thing. It is environment, whatever environment we are getting at home, whatever environment we are getting at work, wherever we are employed, and at place here is particularly is like we are going outside to meet the people, this community we are attending, the functions we are attending, so we learn from them also. Okay, so this is the what all about informal education. What is non-formal education? So the second part is about non-formal education. So non-formal education is carried outside the institution. Institution here is a proper structure or a building in which people comes from outside, they pay for the education they get, and then they work on upon the projects or something that is given or according to the requirement of the curriculum or the syllabus. But non-formal education is whatever we are learning, we have to stretch that thing out, that knowledge out to the farmers. So mainly it is known as a adult education that we have heard about. So many non-formal education that goes on, mainly like night schools that goes on, or some like street education, then evening schools, and also adult education is there, vocational trainings are there, vocational educations are there for the people. Then extension education is there, like we are just on a particular topic, we are going to the people and teaching them and giving them our experience of what we have felt and what they do and how they are going to comprise both of the thing together and come up with the solutions. And also we directly, if we in our daily life we want to understand what is non-formal education, it is directly as a adult education. Okay, so adult education, like they do, most of the adults are what we categorize as adult is from more than 20 to like 40 or 50 years. So these people, maybe they don't have to, they didn't have any primary school or secondary schools. They don't know how to write their names and even read and write the basic things. So adult education here is main concept of what we call as non-formal education, because the people they go, they teach by voluntary, and they at least aware, make them aware of whatever the things are going on. Okay, so then the third part is formal education that we are in. We have to follow a particular protocol. We have to have a rule books. We have a particular syllabus. We have some authorization, accreditations, and also that gives um, that is what makes a formal education. And there is a particular building in which we have to pay money and we have to come and educate ourselves. We get degrees that certify us that we are educated in a particular field or particular thing. Okay, then we will move on to second part of this basic subject, that is extension education. So here, extension is derived from a Latin word which means ex. Ex means out, and tentio means stretching. So it is a stretching out education that we provide to the people. So this term was first originated in US in 1914, and which means a branch of a university for students who cannot attend the university properly. Okay, so it's directly we can say like it is outstretched, it is not in the formal education format. Okay, it is outside the formal education format. Okay, so we can also say that in other words, extension signifies an out of a school system of education. Okay, so as I have already told, like education is an integral part of extension. It is a basic concept of education, and extension means that um, there shouldn't be any uh, like it is not performed in a formal institute. So where it is actually performed, so extension is performed among the rural areas, in the rural families of in the rural areas with the rural people, so that we can understand like whatever they are lacking behind, we can improve that thing. Okay, so like different scientists, different uh, theologists have told different they came up with a different concept of what extension education is. So like Paul has already is saying that it is derived from a physical, biological, and social science, and it is, and in its own process synthesized into a body of knowledge, concept, principle, and procedure. So here it's, they always says that extension is not applying to only a particular field of science or a particular field of what we can say, um engineering or something. It's a basic social science. Social science is about what the society thinks and how the signs that we see in the society. So it's a physical what here means is like when we interact with the people, what our behavior is, how we have to change the behavior, how we have to there is a difference between educated person behavior and a uneducated person behavior, or the old people, the young generation. So it's a physically way, means like our bodily how we are interacting with the people. Then biologically, it depends on the first we can, if we whatever the thing which comes in our mind is male and female, old and new. Okay, so and then the environment and the people. Okay, then social science, it's about studying about the community, family, person, individuals, marriage, everything. So extension education is studying everything which is present in the society. Okay, and then when it comes up with the second thing is, then it process all these things to a body of a knowledge. Okay, so how to be why not, how why it need to be processed is like, it will start with a understanding of the thing, like this should be the standard. Why? Because they have seen that this process, this particular behavior is very good, and it is very soothing to the eyes. Mentally satisfaction is there, physically satisfaction is there, then there is environmental satisfaction is there. There are so many concepts that consist around a person's a human life. So that is what this extension education does, is like, they will grab all the things and then they will formulate it into a knowledge, like a standard knowledge, like this is the fact, this is the framework in which everything will be fine. Then concept is like making a particular way, like this is happening, that's why this is happening. If it is not there, then this won't happen. So these are the pros and cons, we can say. Then principles are the main focus, like it cannot be changed. So this is the principle. If you will, for a happy life, you need to understand your family. Okay, so that is what a principle is. And then procedure, how to be happy, that is a procedure. So this is what the things is going. If we I relate to the agriculture as like understanding the plant things, understanding how farmers is related to the crop production and everything, then market, then distribution, production, buying, selling, everything should be there. So if we convert that all process into a knowledge, is like, we will try to incorporate everything into a particular way, and then we will say to it like um, uh, knowledge about how to do cropping so that we can get good yield, what to apply as a fertilizer so that no pesticide or insecticide can affect the crops. Okay, so we have a team of science people that will come together, and they come up with some outcomes. They come up with the solution that are very much effective to the farmers and the crop and the agriculture. Okay, so it is a non-credit thing, so we don't pay for it. It's a free of cost, and people voluntary comes and make themselves avail to us so that we can disseminate our knowledge to them. Okay, so then another scientist said like, it's a agricultural development. Okay, so whatever the extension is there, we have to mainly focus in agriculture, especially it mainly focus is the agriculture develop, because 80% of today's also in India, the farmers are there. They depends only on the agriculture sector. So it's, we have to have a programs in extension education that are going to develop the agriculture things. And then we have the rural welfare. Rural welfare is how the rural life is there, what they eat, how they live, what are their felt needs, how the solution can be done, and all. Okay, then now what is the scope? One more point I forgot to tell you. It's also studying the livelihood, that I have welfare consists of the livelihood, the close relation they have, the communities, the families they have around them, and how these are interrelated to each other. Okay, then we come to the scopes of extension education. What is the exactly the scope of extension education? Like some scientists have said like, it's create awareness among the people and changes their behavior by informing and educating them. So like I have already told that the education is the integral part. So the main focus is about educating people. So creating awareness about whatever the situation is, and how you can come up with the solution, and how we can improve the life of them, and then changing their behavior by coming up of the solution, and how the people adopt and they change their life. And then information informing them means like um, informing about the procedures, the techniques, Okay, then there are some scopes that are efficiency in agricultural production. First one is that extension. Agricultural production here is about the production of the crops, the farming system and all, and how we can through the different techniques that are founded in the formal education way, we can come up with some of the programs, and then we can educate how to produce the good farming or good crops. Then marketing, distribution and utilization, how these crops which are grown and then processed, how these processed food or some the production is going to be marketed, how it is going to be distributed, and how these distributed things can be utilized. It is about the conservation, development and use of natural resource. So whatever the crops we are growing, it is naturally, we put effort, but 90% of the effort is about the natural nature, how it produce, whether the crop is going and the seeds are going to germinate or not. So it's a conservation, like if we will plant we do agriculture, then we conserve soil, we conserve water, we maintain the fertility of the soil and all. Then management on the farm and in house, like we have so many different factors that are affecting the management at farms. Means like in how much area, how much crop, or how much tons of or quintals of seed should be sown, so that it produce a good yield, and how this good yield is going to affect the family or the house. Then family living, if we have a good production, we will have a good life. Living means like our family will be developed with this. They will have enough food or enough source of income, so that they can have a better life. Then youth development is here. All the youths will be involved and they will, by learning, when they will be involved in farming, they will know that this is lacking behind, and they can come up with different techniques to improve that particular problem. So, okay. And then that is indirectly developing a mindset of about what is agriculture. Then taking leadership development is like, if we have something new, automatically people will try to understand us, and they will try to um, come up, tell us like, we also want to understand this. And then that is the power of what leader person comes out, leadership quality comes out, that you are going to take leadership, you are going to take initiative to educate them. This process is done by this, and this will lead to this. Okay, then community development. Obviously, if youth is developed, the family is developed, the farmers are developed, then definitely the community will be indirectly or directly it will be developed. Okay, and that will help the development of the rural areas also. Then public affairs is here is means about the they will be more interacted to the outside world, what is going on outside, and what is currently what is the situation. Like recently, from last year, we are facing the farmers revolt about the three farm laws that is going on. And it is why the people are aware, because they are so much developed that they understand like this is our basic need. And if we are paying, and if we are paying for whatever we are growing, then it doesn't mean we they are going to be benefited. So they see, they have watched about the situation, like there is no benefit for them, their family will be very much lag behind, so they are protesting. So this is what public affairs is like. Politics and the people are going to interact directly and make a different scenario. Then another part is like extension is integral part of agriculture and rural development program in India. So like I have already told, like in India 80% of people are under farming sector, and still they are working hard to produce good yield, so that they can get a good livelihood. But still there are so many pros and cons that are coming out. So we like, what type of agriculture develop and rural development programs are there? There are fisheries, animal husbandries, there are forestries, sericulture is there. So which are giving which are promoting them to get more yield of what regularly they grow crops and the process they follow in agriculture. So further we can say there are another set of scopes that comes out from this point, like extension is an integral part of agriculture. So first one is it motivates people through a proper way, proper approach, like um, for example, like if the person is only dependent on the dairy, or only dependent on the like sericulture or bee culture, so how they can be educated more to produce more. Okay, so more streams will come out, more studies will come out to enhance the production of that thing. Then it help to educate people, all the village people. It's not like this percent of the village people are not educated and they are facing so many problems. So village people are educated by them, so they, if there is some any problems, they can handle by themselves. Then there will be a desirable change in all the three aspects of life of a person. That is, first one is knowledge, attitude and skills. Then it helps the people to help themselves. It not like in formal education what happens, we have the knowledge, we disseminate that knowledge to the students, and then the students will come out, or they will learn that same knowledge, and maybe they will modify a little bit out of whatever they know. But as for the, if extension, we talk about the extension education, we go to the farmers, we tell the people like this is the way and this is the process by which we are going to help you. And it's not just we are helping you or giving you education, but how this education is going to help, that is your thing. You have to implement that thing, see whether there is problem with it, whether you want to apply that particular methods or not. So it's directly as helping people to help themselves. We're not going to go inside that person's mind and tell, okay, this one is the best. They will implement, they will see, and then they will educate themselves through doing. Then always it is working with women. It's not solely on the crops or on the thing, it's also a social science. A social science is related to people living in the society, so it consists of men, women, children, boy, girl, everything, and their felt need, whatever the needs are there. Like for the men and women, maybe for the men, they are working whole day in the farm. For the women, they are working whole day in the household, but they are not gaining anything. For a farmer, he is gaining, he is growing crops and he can sell out and he can get money. But for what about the women? What about the female part of the society? What they are doing in the rural areas? So it helps in some of the schemes, like self-help groups are there, cottage industries are there, which help them to improve themselves, and we can also earn money to support the family. Then it's not about whatever we know and we tell and we implement, we forcefully tell them to implement. It's a demonstrative thing, means they will demonstrate it, then they will adopt it. So it's both the way. Learning by doing means, if first they will see, okay, I am doing this thing and this is output is good, so they will do and see whether reality on real grounds it's working or not. It's not always about the rumors, it's always about the practical world. Then it never emphasize on the institutional culture, it always work with the rural culture, like how the rural family is working, how they are going to help the people. Okay, how they what are their culture and how they are going to be adopting that culture. Then we have it's never a one way challenge, like it's not a top down model. It's not just one person is speaking and it is implemented, no returns are given, no feedbacks are given. No, it's not like that. Always the feedback is given to the people's first the solutions are given, then the people will implement, and then they will come up with some of the feedbacks, whether it is working or not working, or where there is gaps, and then they will improve. Then it's all about working together to expand the welfare and happiness of the people with their own families and own village, own country and the world. So we say like we human is a social animal. So we cannot say that it only resides or exists alone. So it is always in the group, whether in a form of family, in the form of their own village, country, and uh, world. So it's a welfare of all the components that is situated with human life. Then extension is the development of individual. So it's if I am as an individual, if I am developed, then only I can develop others, so that the people will understand like why the development is important, why we need to change from the existing way of living to the new path. So this is the I guess thing commercially what we are doing, and how we are converting the traditional into commercial. That is also a very good thing in this. Then what actually extension does is it understand the condition of the rural people, farmer people, and then improves that particular things if they are facing problem, or if they are having some doubts in that. And also mainly for the production, good production, so that they can have a good livelihood. So it also it filled up the gap between what is the actual situation and what ought to be the desirable situation. Okay, so like I have said, like in formal education we get a particular procedure or a particular principle on which we work, but on ground it is very sometimes it is totally different on whatever we have learned in the formal education. So extension education teaches us what the theoretical and what is the difference between the theoretical and the practical knowledge. Okay, so and then it also uh, filled up the gaps between the technology and the traditional knowledge, and then it come together and formulate a particular behavior that help that particular situation or particular approach that will um, improve the behavior of the people to adopt the new technologies. Like before we used to have this grinding machine that women used to sing, and they used to make flour out of the wheats. But nowadays we have machines that are working uh, to lessen the burden of the woman, plus the lesson, and it will work fast and it will be producing more, so that the people can be uh, avoided from the toiling work of whatever they are doing. So this is what the technology is doing. Then another is like threshing, harvesting machines are there. So these are all are technology and science that is helping the farmers to improve their livelihood, and improve their family condition, getting the knowledge, improving their crop production and all. So another scientist, he came up and he said it's like extension education is not as like we are understanding the problem of the people, but there are some of the gaps that are also um, lacking behind the interaction between the people and the researchers. Like first he said, like most of the research people, they are not getting time, and the equipments are not that much that they will go to for every individual in the rural area, and they will ask them to give the feedback. So they don't have that much time, and even the farmers are also not that much with the time, free in time, and it is very difficult for them to go to the nearby training centers to attain the first hand information, like how to do farming, how to do mushroom cultivation, how to go for fisheries, where veterinaries, animal husbandries and all. Because for them it is a very basic thing and we have to keep it, that is the thing they have. So it's very difficult for them to invest that much time for that thing, because they are not educated first of all. Second, they are not aware that these types of um, programs are going on which are going to affect them. Then uh, to fill there is a gap between the researcher and the rural people, so rural life. So this extension agencies, they come up with, like NGOs are there that are working with the people, and they come up to like close this gap of research and the people, and these are called as extension agencies. And extension workers are the employees here which help them to give the knowledge whatever they have understood. So this is all for today. So I have a relevant questions out of it. They are, first one is, what does the EX in the extension stand for? It's about inward education, it's beyond education, out education, or anything. Then we have this, what does tenuous word mean for that? Then how many types of educations are there? These are the questions that are given, and these are the questions on scopes, that how to understand people, what they have learned till so far. Thank you. This topic is over now.